out there in our Women's Net community, welcome to a chat today with our 3 November 2025 grant winners. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with Raquel Glottman of Piel de Miel. She's our startup grant winner, and the startup grant is for entrepreneurs in the idea phase or really the early stage of building their business, and they haven't yet hit $10,000 in total sales. Mary Camacho of Cirdia PBC, which stands for Public Benefit Corporation, is our business-specific grant winner. And for November, the business-specific category was STEM companies, or those in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Something else I had to look up. And Shilpa Tiwari of No Women, No Spice is our Amber Grant winner. And the Amber Grant is open to all women business owners in the US and Canada. I'm Marsha Layton Turner. I'm a member of the Women's Net Advisory Board, and I have the great opportunity to speak with our winners every other month. It's always exciting. I always enjoy it. So Raquel, Mary, and Shilpa, thank you so much for making time to chat with me today. I know you're all very busy. So let's start off kind of with an easy question. If we could just have you tell everybody a little bit about your company and then maybe where the idea came from to start it. And Raquel, let's start with you.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm very excited to be here. Thank you. So Piel de Miel, which stands for skin, honey skin. So already that evokes like skin and something natural and something that feels very comfortable and sensual. Piel de Miel started actually with a personal health concern, a personal breast health concern. I had for many, many years pain in my breast. And even though I have a very healthy lifestyle, I couldn't understand why that was. And it was only until I came across some information and some books that I realized that there is, in fact, a relationship between what we wear on our breast every day, all day, our whole lives, and our breast health. And basically, the information was very clear to me. When we block our lymphatic system, usually traditional bras are made with a tight synthetic band underneath or even underwires. And you can even see the line that is left on the skin after you take them off, the red line. So that's usually showing where the blood and the circulation is being blocked. And what we have here is a lymphatic system that depends on movement and on circulation for that lymphatic flow, which is the one in charge of releasing toxins from the body to stay healthy, right? So when I understood that the bras were actually compressing and blocking my lymphatic flow, and that mostly they're made from synthetic fabrics, which tend to make the skin heat up, the pores open, sweat, and we absorb also toxins from the bras, from what we wear, sports bras or whatnot. So I understood that. I put all of that together and I said, okay, I got it. This is my path to my personal healing. But when I went on to research what was available on the market, I found two very surprising things. One, that women don't know this information. And for me, that was, I mean, it was as much news to me when I started learning about it as it is to so many women. And I find that it's very crucial, very important. And two, that there really wasn't anything in the market out there which was exactly what I was dreaming of and what I wanted to wear. Which basically I wanted to be natural, of course, no elastics, no bands, but to feel like a glove and made with really soft fabric. So that's kind of the roots of where everything started for me. And it's been a long journey since then. And I now have a fabulous product. So I'm really excited to bring it forward now. Thank you.
Wonderful. Excellent. It's so interesting. Shilpa, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your company.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about what we do and why we do it. So my company is No Women, No Spice. We work with women farmers in Tanzania to support their agriculture practices. So really looking at agroforestry, which is agriculture and forestry mixed together, which is better for the soil. So continuing that practice and not monoculture, which is where you cut down a forest and you plant one type of crop. and supporting them specifically because in Africa, 70% of food production is women are responsible for that. And if they had access to financial and productive resources, we would increase farm yields by 20% and reduce hunger by 15, because women are also the caretakers of our community and our families. And so that insight, I years prior had been working on agriculture, topics related to agriculture and women in a variety of different countries. And so was familiar with the role women play in food and food security. But that stat in particular really stuck with me. And so when I was in Tanzania, I was working very closely with women farmers in terms of procuring spices from them directly, creating a system that allowed them to work effectively, and also was thinking about how to ensure there was safety, because sometimes when you focus on women in certain regions of the world or communities, it can also increase harm. A lot of studies had found that certain microcredit enterprise programs in Bangladesh, it was a PhD researcher, found that as they focused more on women, the men in the community were becoming very angry because they weren't getting the attention and the access to funds that they also felt they needed. And so it was actually increasing violence against women in the community, the focus on women. So when we work in these communities, we really take a larger point of view in terms of how do we ensure that this benefits the entire community when we work specifically with women, but how do we ensure that those benefits extend to the entire community and everyone feels good about what's happening? We're registered in Tanzania as a company and in Canada as a company. And the reason we did that was often when we create companies in the global south and we extract, we're moving all the money out of that economy, right? And we really wanted to ensure that resources circulated in that economy as well. So we sell our spices in Tanzania and Kenya, and then we also sell them in Canada, North America, and hope to expand. These are our boxes of spice. And so here's the black pepper, here's a cinnamon. We also do cardamom. And if you look, like even the packaging, so the packaging is forest certified, forest stewardship, FSC, forest stewardship certified paper. So it means that the trees have been sustainably harvested to make the paper and it's recyclable. And the dye is vegetable dye, so not chemicals. So we were thinking not just impact to women, but really thinking about the entire life cycle. And then also with the image, we were really interested in focusing on women as bold, creators of our future and not victims. And so when we created this, we did a lot of consultation with women in East Africa in terms of the representation. We wanted to ensure they felt represented in a way that was more accurate and that they felt was embodied them and who they are. So we did a lot prior to, actually even starting, we did a lot of consultations just on the brand and the packaging, and then started working with women farmers in Tanzania. And now we sell in Tanzania, we sell in Kenya, we sell in Canada and the US.
Amazing. Wow. So complex. I'm impressed. Yeah. Thank you. And Mary, how about you? Tell us a little bit about Cirdia.
Sure, thank you. And really, thanks for the opportunity. So Cirdia is women first, privacy first, wellness wearables designed for midlife and beyond. And this idea started when I realized something most people don't really think about all that often, which is that our biometric data, our heart rate, our sleep patterns, our stress signals, all of these things are being collected and controlled by a handful of big tech companies whose real business is advertising. And the reality is our medical records aren't treated this way. So why are we okay with all of our biometric data being treated this way, like clickstream analytics, that sort of thing? And that's question and my background kind of sent me down this rabbit hole because as a woman in midlife, I kept seeing how poorly the devices were actually serving us. And the more I learned over the process of starting this, the clearer it became. Women weren't even required to be included in US medical studies until 2016. We live longer than men, but our health span, the years we're healthy, is actually shorter. And that's because really the data behind most health tech, behind most wellness tech, just simply isn't about women. And so Cirdia is really my answer to that. It's a device built for our physiology, and it's for our privacy. And it's also about aesthetics, right? Because it's a device that looks like something I want to wear on a small wrist, not some giant thing that looks like I'm always working out. And because of that, it comes with a night device too, something that's a lot more comfortable. And then you can just kind of, while one is charging, the other one is you're wearing. So it's a two-device system for day and night, and it meets our sort of biometric, rhythmic, circadian rhythms of life. And it isn't trying to be one thing that's kind of like this aggressive um, fitness device. And when fitness isn't even half the point at midlife and beyond, it's about longevity, wellness, and health. And so that's what we're creating, something that's actually addressing the need of this group.
Love it. And you're so right. I used to wear my Apple Watch to bed to be able to track my sleep cycle, and it was uncomfortable, so I stopped wearing it. So
Yeah.
very smart. You're all very smart. I'm so impressed. So let's talk now about as you were getting started, or even as you've learned along the way during your journey, what was a resource that you found really helpful in starting or building your business? This could be a book you read that you just, found inspirational or helpful, or a program that you enrolled in, a course you took, an agency you turned to. What's one thing that you might share with our community of other women business owners? And Shilpa, let's start with you.
Thank you. I think that's a great question, because I think we all are often looking for resources and ways to things that can support us as we build, because all of us are doing often unique things from our own point of view. For me, it was really building a group of women from a variety of different industries, creating sort of an advisory board. So who could, and I have 5 women in particular that bring different points of views to me, and so I connect with them at different times. The other thing I've been doing recently a lot of is listening to podcasts. There's a few that I really enjoy listening to that are all kind of focused on how entrepreneurs built their business. And then the third thing that a book I recently read, I was in Vermont and I went to Ben and Jerry's, the ice cream, and they have a similar ethos in terms of what they think business should be. And so in terms of books, I bought both their book. One was the book before they started, so when they were young in their 20s and hadn't even really come up with the idea. And the second book is when they were bought by Unilever. So I've read the first book, which was interesting to read because it was very much, because they're in the food space as well. Some of they think they're going in this direction, and then all of a sudden they have to switch, or something changes, or a policy changes, or regulation changes. And so that I find that book, I've read many books that are biographies of entrepreneurs, and also books on particular businesses. That one resonated the most because it felt like I was experiencing some of the same things that they were experiencing. And so that was really helpful. The other thing I just want to mention is that I find it gets really lonely for me. I don't know, Raquel and Mary, how you feel, but being an entrepreneur can be very isolating. And so the advisory board has been great because I'm someone who needs to talk out things as I'm going through different parts of the business. And also I find that there are days when you just think, oh, is this really going to work? Like, am I stupid for thinking that this would actually work? And so sometimes you just need someone to say, you are doing a great job, keep going. And this grant is like one of those, I think probably for Raquel and Mary, like receiving the grant was like this moment of like confirmation, like, yes, someone sees me. Yes.
Totally.
And so it meant so much to me. It just, I can't even explain how much what it did to lift my spirits. So I just want to say that this what you do through Women's Net, it's really meaningful to us female and women entrepreneurs, and it gives us that boost that we really do need sometimes, because it can be a slog.
Thank you. That's so good to hear. And that's just so like personally fulfilling to hear that, like, now, yeah, we see you, we celebrate you. We're so just amazed by what you're doing. So awesome. Mary, how about you? Was there a resource or two that you found particularly helpful with your business?
Well, I mean, so I've been a woman in tech for, I don't know, going on 30 years, to date myself. Um, and so there's so many that I can't even like begin to express in terms of my background of building up, decades of understanding how technology works and how business works in these spaces. But really, the most important resource is people and being bold. And kind of like to build on what's already been said, there's a lot of things out there, especially as you're moving into something new that's available. Research is more accessible than ever, right? But you still need to take the time and to make sense of it. And what changed and what continues to change everything for me is reaching out to experts and people who have affinity for what you're doing. And these people are often on LinkedIn or in research communities, in other women's health spaces. And the thing is that people are just so much more willing to kind of engage with you than you expect. And this is why I say people and being bold, right? Because one conversation turns into another, that network becomes a force multiplier. Suddenly you've just got these amazing people reaching out to you and giving you insights that affect what you're doing and like making a difference for women's health together. And it's just fundamental and it's amazing. And so I think about this, and I end up talking a lot to new founders and younger women in tech. And so it's like, I really say, start building your network day one and keep building it. And it's not about pitching. It's not about selling. It's about learning and connecting. Be somebody worth knowing and truly be genuinely interested in other people, because that is the thing that makes this work. I mean, yeah. So I'm excited about this because that's what I love about what's happening right now, because I'm learning about you guys. I'm excited about what you're doing in the world. And actually the whole process with Women's Net and the grants that you do and watching the videos of other people and hearing about what people are up to, it's truly inspiring. And yeah, thank you.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and for encouraging everyone else to just go, yeah, check out the community. For anybody who's watching, we have a Facebook community of, I think we're over 27,000 members of women business owners. So I hope you'll come check us out and just become part of the conversations that are happening there. So Raquel, how about you? Is there a resource that you might recommend to other women in the community that you found useful?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, Entrepreneurs on Fire is the one that a podcast I love listening to when I'm working out every morning, and that only always gives me a boost. There's always a takeaway, so I think he's great. And as I mentioned, my business actually started with a book, with information that I found in a book, and here it is, Dressed to Kill. So this book is written by a couple, and both of them are medical anthropologists. And what that means is that they study the effect on culture on our health. And they are the ones that explain everything. They actually did a survey with over 5,000 women in the US, and they also did studies in cultures where there is no bra, there was no breast cancer as soon as the bra was introduced. I think they mentioned the Philippines when they started having spas. So the culture kind of started to get influenced by Western culture, and that's when they started having, breast health issues. So they are the ones that very boldly start to talk about the subject, because as it turns out, this is a very delicate and taboo subject, and only very, experts on the field can actually go into explaining it and talking about it, with confidence of what they're talking about. But I got all my information from here, all my inspiration, and it takes away a little bit of that sort of mystery surrounding breast health issues and breast cancer, because usually there's this sort of kind of helplessness, and we don't know why it's caused, and nobody kind of wants to point out to the fact that there are in fact things that we can do to lessen our risk factors. And so this book was a great inspiration for me. And of course, as soon as I had my first prototypes and samples ready, I sent it to them, I reached out to them, and I now have a really nice relationship to them. Like Kansa said, you know, getting this grant is an amazing confirmation and affirmation that we're on the right path. And I felt the same way when I reached out to them and they said, you know, we've been receiving from many people options to ways to have alternatives to better solutions for the traditional bras. And really this one is the one that actually addresses the issue, and we recommend the one that you're making. So I have a beautiful relationship with them, and this is the book that inspired me. And I really encourage women to just dig into the subject a little bit because it pertains to all of us and our health. Thank you.
Thank you. And so you're a perfect success story from Mary's point about being bold and reaching out to people you don't know.
Oh,
See
yeah.
what can happen. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do relate, you know, with what Kansa said. Sometimes you feel like you're so, you know, on your own in this path, and you just kind of keep on rowing, and you're like, I got to get somewhere because I row every day, you know, really hard. And suddenly you do, you know, and you reach people, and this means something to others. And yeah, so very excited. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, Mary, let's switch to you and talk a little bit about marketing, because that's really one topic that small business owners, men, women, everybody, um, they are always trying to get better at marketing. And I think we all understand that that is the path. It's the path to sales. So, has there been a particular marketing strategy or tactic that you found really works for your business and that you might recommend other business owners look into?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start at the top level of it. I mean, like we're going where midlife women already spend their time online, right? Which is LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And
Yeah.
yes, are there 1,000 other places online? Perhaps, but you don't need to be 1,000 places when you're starting. You need to keep it focused. And our strategy is pretty simple. The tech stack's not, but the strategy is. The strategy is tell the truth about how wellness tech ignores women and show them how your product and how Cirdia is different, and invite them into shaping the product with us, because we're not building it like in a vacuum. We're building tech for people that actually interacts with humans, and it has to work and solve problems that people have, and it has to give them what they need. Like beyond that, I think it's really interesting. One of the things that we've done early on is that we did a lot of market testing. We market tested language, imagery, like what are like we put out a survey that very early on from just a quick early sign up list. We got 1,250 surveys filled out, which was amazing because it let us know where the pain points were, what people were willing to do for some of those things. Not all of it. It didn't solve all of our UX questions down the line, but it got us off to an amazing start. And so that's really where we're leaning in, which is how do we keep engaging in a way that people want to. And I tell you, midlife women, they want to tell you things. And so come tell us. And over time, it changes, right? This is early stage. Marketing shifts based on the kind of company you are, and what stage of company, you know, that you are, where you're selling and all of that. So we know we're going to expand into partnerships and influencers, PR, retail, all of that sort of thing. We're just not there at this stage. But I will say one thing, as a tech company, and this isn't just for tech companies, marketing has moved into high tech. And so your MarTech strategy, your marketing technology stack really does matter. Having people that know how to automate your marketing and make it really work, and not be so mechanical, but actually really work in the ways that humans want to be engaged with, that really matters a lot. So if that's not your sweet spot, be sure to find somebody on your team that can fill that sweet spot.
I really love that you pointed out that there are so many places you can be focused on like one or two or a handful, because then you're just spreading yourself too thin. That
Yeah.
really makes a lot of sense to me. Raquel, how about you? Is there a marketing tactic that you would recommend that you found works for you?
Well, as you know, we are startup, you know, we got the startup grant, but there are a few ideas that we're going to implement and we already started working on as far as our campaigns. So one thing is that we're going to be including in all of our sales, this little booklet that I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
adorable. Yeah. It's an adorable sort of representation of, again, a serious subject done in a very sweet way. And this is where we're going to go into different tips of how we can keep our breast, how we can reduce risk factors. So this is one of them that we've kind of included. And then also we want to have with Piel de Miel a very real, authentic voice. And so there's a campaign that we already started recording a few of them, which is called the Breast Monologues. And basically it's 4 questions, and we do recording a video of women, but it's anonymous. So we record from here to here, only the breast, and we ask for specific questions. I've already done a few of them, and it's amazing the things that come out, because every woman has a breast story that we can learn from, that we can kind of gather something from. So the questions are: 1, how do you feel about your breast? That already says a lot. 2, if your breast could talk, what would they say? 3, do you have any anecdotes or any insights that you'd like to share? And 4, have you ever had any breast health concerns? And just on those 4 questions, I've had the most diverse kind of answers and stories. And so our voice is going to be real. It's going to be authentic. I know, Mary, that we're in a very tech world, but we also want to just kind of, we also love to hear the most intimate, real parts that we're all feeling and we're all sharing. So we're going to go, in that, sharing a lot of videos in a very real, authentic way and keeping it human. Yeah, that's kind of what we're going for marketing. Thank you.
Very clever. Shilpa, how about you?
Oh, thank you. So my strategies were, I think Raquel and Mary have touched on them. So one was focus is your friend. So as Mary said, we could be everywhere. We really thought carefully about where we wanted to be. Second was relationships. And so so in terms of how we built in Tanzania, I spent 2 years in Tanzania sort of building up, the supply chain. But I really leaned, so I don't speak Swahili and I'm not Tanzanian. And so I really, and in the work I've done, building relationships helps move things forward. It's like authentic, true relationships. And so how we broke into Tanzania was we started with safari lodges. So in Tanzania, Kenya, there's, the Serengeti's there. So there's a lot of high-end safari lodges. They have retail gift shops where people want to buy something to take home. And that's why the packaging was also, because you can stick this in a backpack or in a suitcase, and it doesn't take up a lot of space and it won't break. And so we started, we built a relationship with one lodge. They have 5 in Tanzania, and they're gorgeous lodges. And we were in their retail store. And then from that, we talked to them, and they introduced us to the head chef, who is responsible for the 5 lodges in Tanzania, but this company owns 24 more in Kenya. And so when we talked to the chef, she loved our story. So she's the head of all the chefs in all the lodges, and loved the quality, because we didn't just want a story. It had to also be, outstanding chef grade quality, and loved it. And so we were able to move from retail now into their kitchens. So we really leaned into building relationships with a few vendors and partners, and thinking of them more as our partners. And similar to how Mary said, like talking to them about what do you like, what don't you like. So really working with them to build a product that made sense. And so focus is your friend, relationships. And then also what's been mentioned is transparency. We are very transparent about how we do things, what we do, and sharing information. Like we want more businesses to think about impact and be sustainable. So we're not, we don't really hide anything. You want to know something, come to us, we'll tell you, because we want more businesses. And so really thinking about a mindset of abundance and not scarcity, and how do we build more businesses that are going to create a future that works for all of us.
Very smart. I love hearing these stories. So to wrap up, if we could have each one of you just share one thing that the women's net community could do to show support for your business from afar. Is it, following you on social media, signing up for a newsletter, buying a product? What's one thing? And Raquel, let's start with you.
Okay, so Piel de Miel will be launching by end of February. And yes, and of course, the boob monologues, I would love to know who's in for answering for questions. And of course, they'll be wearing a Piel de Miel when they do so. And besides that, please follow us. We'll be out by February, and that is pieldemiel.co. It's the same for our Instagram or for our webpage. And always happy to do a little boob monologue with any woman that's ready for it. So I invite all of you. Open the invitation.
And they sign up for that at your website?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, okay, that'll be coming up. So February, we're going to be ready to start shipping out and also to start doing boob monologues.
Wonderful. Can't wait. Shilpa, how about you? What's one thing we can do?
It would be follow us on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn, and tell your network about us. I mean, it's often I find sales work better when you hear about the product through someone you know and trust, right? And so we really rely on people using our product and then telling other people about our product. I find that's one of the best sales strategies for us, at least. Thank you.
And what's your Instagram handle? Is it No Women,
No
No
Women,
Spice?
No Spice. Yeah, No Women, No Spice.
Perfect. And Mary, how about you? What's one thing we can do for you?
Yeah, real similar actually. We're building with real life, midlife women, and so we really want support in terms of participation, women answering questionnaires, joining focus groups, sharing their lived experiences. All of that happens by signing up at our website, cirdia.com. And also just a quick call out, in January, we're going to be opening up a limited 100 founding member spots because we're very early stage too. I know everything, we're the STEM group, but all of us are kind of maybe not all of us, but two of us at least are really new on this one. And that is going to be first out to people who are on our wait list. So sign up on the website and you'll find out about it right away. CIRDIA.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you three so much for sharing your amazing and intriguing stories with us. And congratulations again on being our 3 November grant winners.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely to
Thank
meet you
you.
guys.